Welcome students for the lecture 16th in the continuation of the previous discussion, where we have talked about a three-phase unbalanced system, and we have tried to understand the behavior of this three-phase unbalanced circuit. This example is from an NPTEL book that I have written and shared with you on the Moodle. You can go through it, and if you have any difficulty, let me know. We'll make you to understand it fully. I hope this is nothing very complicated that you cannot understand. But it is very interesting to look at this circuit and find out its characteristic, how it behaves when the three-phase supply sees this kind of load. In this example, we have considered the unbalanced load where only resistive load is connected between the point or the phase A and B. Okay, so this point is A and this point is B, or phase A and phase B. This is open, this is also open. Basically, we have to find the power output, the losses in the feeder. Here, small r is the resistance of the feeder and small x is the reactance of the feeder. In this particular case, we are more concerned about the ohmic losses, the wattage losses. So for that, we have considered only the R. In case of reactive power losses, you have to consider X also. As you know that the simplest way to solve this circuit is to find out voltage and currents and then use the expression for power and power factors and find out their values. Okay, so already we have done it. Just for the sake of completeness, I will review the example again so that you are very comfortable about it and you can handle these kind of situations in power system. So as you know, the voltage VAB appears across the R, therefore current is this, that is root 3B by R. So current which will flow here is actually BAB by R, and BAB for A as a reference voltage, also three-phase voltages as balanced. It basically means that we are considering BA equal to B angle of 0, BB equals B angle of minus 120 degree, and BC equals B angle of 120 degree. Correct? These are three-phase balanced voltages at ABC. What will be voltages at A dash, B dash, C dash? The voltages at A dash, B dash, C dash will be, for example, BA dash will be nothing but IA drop across R plus JX and plus this is BA dash BA. That you can find out later. However, that is not important point that we are discussing. We are discussing about the loss component and the output power. So once I know these voltages, we can find out IA, which is nothing but VA minus BB by R, which is root 3 B angle of 30 degree. You can find out what is BAB. It will come as root 3 times of voltage angle of 30 degree divided by R. And IB equals to minus IA. You can see from this the flow of current. So at this point, IB plus IA equal to 0, therefore IB equals to minus IA. That means root 3 B by R 30 degree, you can add minus 180 degree for negative sign, because minus 1 can be written as one angle of either 180 degree or minus 180 degree. Anything you can write. The result will be same. So this minus 1 is replaced by angle minus 180 degree and it becomes root 3 B by R minus 150 degree. So current IA is actually I, let us say, angle of 30 degree, and current IB is nothing but I, angle of minus 150 degree. And IC is 0, IN is also 0. So these are currents, these are voltages. So once I know the set of voltage and current, we can find out the real power, the reactive power, apparent powers, power factor of each phase, and the overall apparent power in terms of the either vector apparent power or arithmetic apparent power, and accordingly the power factors. So I hope this is very clear to you how to solve these kinds of unbalanced three-phase circuits. Now the losses in the feeder will be current square in each phase into small r. Small r is the resistance of the feeder or transmission line or distribution line. This is a capital R. This is the load, but this is the resistance of the feeder or distribution line. So if you use that formula for finding out the losses I square R, this is I RMS square. So I RMS is same for A and B. Actually this is IA square. So this is IA square into R plus IB square into R. And you can see that the amplitude of IA and IB is same. Hence this becomes 2 I square into R. So 2 comes here, and this is R by R. 1 R I have taken it here to make in terms of the power, the output power. So this becomes 2 R by R into P0 or output power, or simply 2 R by R into P. Clear? If R is 0, if the feeder resistance is 0, what is the loss? The loss will be 0. That is very obvious because the feeder line does not have any resistance. There is no drop across the feeder, and hence the losses will be 0. But for a practical feeder, for a practical distribution or transmission line, there is always some resistance of the line, and therefore losses are not 0 but some finite value depending upon the value of R. And then we can compare this system with three-phase balance circuit with same power output. If you see the circuit here, this is three-phase balance circuit such that the output power is same as the previous one, that is 3 I square R. Here I nothing but B by R, so this is 3 into B by R because it's a balance circuit, so it will be 3 B by R square into R, which is 3B square by R. Now this is the same power as the previous one, three-phase unbalanced case. The output power is same. However, the currents are balanced, the voltage are balanced. The current this time will be I or B by R, angle of 0. IB will be B by R, angle of minus 120 degree, and IC will be B by R, angle of 120 degree. So they are balanced and in phase with the respective voltages. IN will be 0 because the currents are balanced. IN will be sum of IA plus IB plus IC, and this will be 0. So the point is that this three-phase balance load, balance system has the same output power, but losses are different. The losses can be computed by, again, IA square into R plus this one, or this IV square into R, and then this plus IC square into R. This is 0. IN square is 0, so this is IN square into R becomes 0. Now, since IA, IB, IC are same in magnitude, RMS values, losses will be 3I square into R, small r. Remember, this is the feeder resistance. What is I here? I is B by R, so this becomes 3B square by R, or B by R square into R, and this becomes 3B square by R into R by R, small r by capital R. So this becomes small r by capital R. Just to compare, as compared to the previous case, it becomes R by R into P. These are the losses. So if you compare these two values, obviously there is a difference of twice. In case of unbalanced, the losses will be twice to that of the balanced circuits. And that is the point of concern, that why we should have a system which will be half inefficient, or you can say that will be, the efficiency will be half, the losses will be almost twice to that of the balanced three-phase circuit. Obviously, I will operate power system for this case rather than this case. And why this is happening? This is happening because of the unbalance. Let us find out the individual powers that we have attempted earlier also. So they can be found by simply BI conjugate. Okay. So you know B angle of 0, and you know current I is IA, which is same as I, because current is some I, so you can say this is I here, and angle of 30 degree, and this conjugate of this. So that becomes BI angle of minus 30 degree, or BAIA angle of minus 30 degree. Here I is actually IA, you can say if you want RMS value of current in phase A, and that you solve, then you will get root 3 BI by 2 minus J BI by 2 because of minus sign. Similarly, for B phase, the power is BI conjugate, complex apparent power is BI conjugate. What is B here? B angle of minus 120 degree, and what is the angle of IB? I angle of minus 150 degree. If you remember, the current in B phase is I angle of minus 150 degree and conjugate of that. So that becomes BI angle of 30 degree. Now this time the angle is positive, and therefore we have positive sign here. You can see. So root 3 BI by 2 is the P, V actually, and this is QV. QV is BI by 2. So you can see this is the QV and this is the PV. In the third phase, since current is 0, so PC and QC and SC will be 0. Therefore, the total active power we have found is sum of PA plus PB plus PC. Since PA is same as PV, so twice of PA you can say, so twice of root 3 by 2 into BI, and that is root 3 into BI. In terms of the voltage, this current is root 3 B by R. You can substitute this back, it becomes 3B square by R, which is okay, which is obvious, we have found it earlier. This is phase wise computation, and then summing them, earlier we have found directly, that is line to line voltage square by R. But the end result is same. Very interesting part of this problem is that the reactive power equals to 0. Because QA equals to minus QB and QC is 0. Therefore, QA plus QB plus QC equals to 0. That actually means that the vector apparent power SB is P square plus Q square square root, that is 3B square by R is same as P, because Q is 0. On the other hand, the arithmetic apparent power is the modulus of each phase complex apparent power, that is SA plus SB plus SC scalar value. So basically it means the first we compute this, take mod of this, compute this, mod of this, compute this and mod of this. So this is BI, this is also BI, so BI plus BI will be 2BI and this is 0. C phase apparent power is 0, so this becomes basically 2BI, which is 2 and I is root 3 by B by R. Okay, you can simplify this. 2 into BI is root 3 B by R, so it becomes root 3 B square by R here, and this is 2. But I want to make in terms of the power, so I will multiply by root 3 and divide by root 3. This becomes 2y root 3 into P. You can see here, and therefore this is SA, therefore PYSA will be the power factor based on the arithmetic apparent power will be root 3 by 2 from this relationship. So this is root 3 by 2, which is 0.866. I said in the previous class that this power factor is therefore less than unity, and you can see the power factor is different from the unity power factor that was given by vector power factor. So there are two power factors, one is the unity and another one is 0.866. So as far as the design of transmission line, distribution line or feeder is concerned, obviously inclined to choose this value of power factor, because this is less in magnitude, more pessimistic, and it gives therefore more margin of safety as far as the overloading of line is concerned. For example, if I design distribution feeder for 0.866 power factor, the current will be more. So it can take more current for this design. But for this, if I design, it cannot take more current because this is unity power factor. So for the same power, if the load is reactive, it will draw more current that it cannot sustain. Okay, so we will prefer the pessimistic case to have more optimistic performance of the power system. So we will choose 0.866 power factor for the design of the distribution network. But again, the nature of this power factor is not clear, and that is not important for me, because for me it is a amplitude of current. So whether lagging or leading, the current overrating will be same for given power factor. However, the exact nature of power factor can be seen from the network parameters. For example, you can see the inductive load, you can see the capacitive load, you can tell the power factor is lagging or leading. But this is very interesting case because there is no capacitance here, there is no inductance here. Still the power factor is non-unity. As we have established the condition that this analogy holds true, that as A is greater or equal to SB, arithmetic apparent power is equal or greater than the vector apparent power, and therefore the power factor arithmetic is less or equal to PFB here. In this case it is 1.0 here, and in this case 0.866 here. So that is verifying the concept. Okay, so I hope you got the point. You may have again some question in your mind that why the individual phase, if you see A phase and B phase and C phase, in A phase the current leads the voltage by 30 degree, you can see here. In B phase current lags the voltage by 30 degree, minus 150, this is minus 120. So if you look from the supply side, you will see that phase A behaves like a capacitive circuit or capacitive reactance. And if you see B phase, it behaves like a inductive reactance or inductive circuit. So capacitive circuit and inductive circuit. But note that there is not capacitance in the system. Load side there is no capacitance connected. Neither there is a inductance, but still the supply of the system will experience as if the capacitive circuit is present for phase A and inductive circuit is present for phase B. This is because of the unbalance phenomena that will make the current lag or lead with respect to the phase voltages. So unbalance makes the current to have lag or lead angle with respect to their phase voltages, and that causes the power factor. For example, A phase has 0.866 power factor PFA. If you find out individual power factor of phase A will be 0.866 lead because current is leading, and for phase B it will be power factor for phase B will be 0.866 lag, and phase C and N are considered as open. So this is a very interesting circuit. In fact, something is present and something is happening. This load is different, supply is experienced different. Okay. Now there is another important concept apart from the arithmetic power factor and vector power factor. There is one more power factor that is called, or say, effective power factor. The effective power factor concept is based on the effective apparent power. This effective apparent power is denoted by term SE. E for effective or equivalent, you can say. This is another important concept in three-phase system to find out the power factor. Okay, the idea is very simple, that we will imagine that there are two circuits. The one circuit is actual three-phase unbalanced circuit. So this is the three-phase unbalanced circuit. Okay, this is equivalent three-phase balanced circuit. Now we will find out the effective apparent power as E as product of 3 into B effective into I effective, or B equivalent, I equivalent. Okay, this is the RMS value of B effective, and this is the RMS value of current effective, I effective. Now I have called this three-phase unbalanced circuit. Why this is unbalanced? In the analysis, we will assume that this is equal to R, this is equal to R, this is equal to R. And also this is equal to R, this is equal to R, this is equal to R. Even though the resistance are same, we are calling this as an unbalanced three-phase circuit because the voltages and currents are unbalanced here. So if the voltages are unbalanced, obviously the current will be unbalanced even though we have identical resistance in each phase. Getting my point? Even though we have same resistance, but since the voltages are unbalanced, current will be unbalanced. Now in this case, we have same resistance, but voltages are balanced and therefore currents are also balanced. Now we will compare these two circuits based on the two criteria. Number one, same losses, and number two, same power output. If we take same losses, what will be losses in this circuit, unbalanced circuit? The losses will be I A square R, this is the small r, plus I B square into R plus I C square into R plus I N square, neutral wire square into R. These will be the losses for the three-phase unbalanced circuits. And for the balanced circuit, the current is IE, I effective A, I effective B, I effective C, but they are balanced currents. So we can write that IEA equal to IEB equal to IEC equal to I, or I effective, RMS values. Phase angle will be symmetrically displaced by plus minus 120 degree. So losses here will be, IN will be 0 because three-phase currents are balanced. So their sum will be 0 and there will be no current in this path, making the neutral current to be 0. So this will be equal to, therefore, 3 into IE square into R. This R will go away both these sides because feeder resistance is identical, and therefore IE will be nothing but IA square plus IB square plus IC square by plus IN square by 3 and square root of this. This will be the I effective based on the same losses for both the circuits, three-phase unbalanced and three-phase balanced circuit. Let us find out the voltage B effective based on this criteria that both the circuits have same power output. So if you see this circuit, the power consumed in the resistance will be BA square by R plus BB square by R plus BC square by R, okay, and plus we can also imagine that there is a line to line voltages supplying a delta connected load. So I can think of that this R can be visualized as this R. Then it will become 3R, equivalent star to delta. If this is R, this is R, this is R, in delta it becomes 3R. But in delta you have a line to line voltage like A, then you have a B here, then you have a C here. So this can be added here, line to line voltage BAB square by 3R plus BBC square by 3R plus BCA square by 3R. This will be equal to output power of three-phase balance circuit here. What is that power? BE square by R. Each has BE square by R for the phase voltages, and then equivalent delta, if I convert, it will be root 3 BE by R. So we can write this expression as 3 BE square by R plus 3 root 3 BE square by R. This accounts for line to line voltage for the balance supplying delta load, equivalent delta load, for three-phase unbalanced circuits. So this is the equivalence. I have added the line-to-line voltages and equivalent delta just for the sake of identity. You can say this is equal to this, that is also acceptable. But just for the sake of completeness, the IEEE standard has considered this term also. So first they have considered the star connected R, and then the same circuit they have considered for delta connected and added the two powers. So it is just the way of expressing it, but you can express either this or that. Just to take care of the unbalance in terms of line to line as well as phase, the two terms have been considered for both the sides. So let us simplify this and see what we get. Okay, so this side you will get, this is 3R here because this is delta, so it will be like 3R here. Here you will get 3 into 3, 9, so 9 BE square. Sorry, 18 BE square, not 9, because 9 will come here, 9 will come here. So this becomes 18 BE square. And this side, 3R will come, 3R will be there in the denominator, and the 3R will cancel with this 3R here. So we will get here 3 BA square plus BB square plus BC square. This and plus BAB square plus BBC square plus BCA square. This will go away here, both the sides, and finally we will get the effective voltage BE as 1 by 18th into 3 BA square plus BB square plus BC square, close this bracket, and then plus here BAB square, BBC square, BCA square, and then close this bracket, okay, and then square root of this. So this is the BE for three-phase unbalanced circuits in terms of the effective circuit. Now if you want, you can approximate that BAB is approximately equal to root 3 BA. In case of unbalance, this is approximately equal to, in case of balance, of course, BAB is always equal to root 3 BA. The RMS line to line voltage is root 3 times of phase voltage. I think you remember this. You call it V line to line equals to root 3 times of B phase. Same thing is here. But in case of unbalance, you cannot say this is true. So the BAB is approximately equal to root 3 BA. Similarly, BBC is approximately equal to root 3 BB, and VCA is approximately equal to root 3 BC. If we use this approximation and simplify this, we will get BE as 1 by 18th. So this becomes 3 actually. 3BA square plus 3BB square plus 3BC square. So 3 plus 3 is 6. And 6 will cancel with this 18 as 3. Okay. Then this term becomes BA square plus BB square plus BC square by 3 and square root. This is the value of BE. So once we know BE, we can find out SE 3 into BE into IE. You already know what is IE, what is BE. And then once we know SE, we can find out the power factor based on this effective apparent power, that is PY SE. In this particular example that we have considered, what is IE? IE will be, as per definition, IE is IA square plus IB square plus IC square plus IN square by 3 square root. So for the previous example, actually I is 0, IN is 0, IC is 0, and IA is same as IB, which is I. So this becomes 2 into IA square by 3 and square root of this. You can find out this. So this becomes 2 by 3 root into I, A, or simply I, which is same as IB. This is IE. And what is BE? BE is BA squared plus BB square plus BC square by 3. Since BA, BB, BC are same, they are balanced voltages, it becomes simply B. So what is effective apparent power? SE. SE will be thrice of BE, which is B, and current is 2 by 3 root into I. I is root 3 B by R. Am I correct? So root 3 will go with this root 3, root 2 into P. So this is the relationship between the power, the real power, and the effective apparent power. Now from this we can find out the power factor that is based on the effective apparent power, PFE. PF will be PY SE. Now from this equation, PYSE will be 1 by root 2. What is that? 0.707. So now you have 3 power factors for the same circuit. First is the vector power factor, then arithmetic power factor, and then effective power factor based on the 3 definitions of the apparent powers. That is the vector apparent power, arithmetic apparent power, and the effective apparent power. We could see this identity between the apparent powers. SE is greater than equal to SA greater than equal to SB. Accordingly, PFE is less than equal to P power factor arithmetic less than power factor vector. In this case, this is 1.0. This is 0.866 we have found out previously, and this is 0.707. Okay, so you see there are 3 apparent powers and each of them have a different value. Therefore, there are 3 power factors having different values. Now again the question will come that which one you will prefer. This is 0.707, this is 0.866, This is 1.0. Obviously, we will take the most pessimistic case, that is the lowest value of power factor, that is this power factor, to design the distribution network. Because if we design for 1.0, the current rating will be less. If we design for 0.707, the current rating will be more, that can handle situation in case of the unbalanced or fault conditions. So we will choose the least value of power factor, that is the effective power factor, this power factor, not this power factor or not even this power factor. But this analysis holds true only for three-phase unbalanced circuit with fundamentals. Okay, and also this comparison is made for a balanced resistive load. The load is not considered as a reactive, or load is not considered unbalanced resistive even. The unbalance is in respect of the only voltage and currents, not the resistance or the load. This is one thing. Okay. Second thing is that we are not considering any harmonics in this case. Now there is one more concept here, and that is basically about the positive sequence powers and the unbalanced power. Okay. So I will just define it. The term unbalanced power SU is defined as S effective square minus S plus square. Based on the effective apparent power, we define the term unbalanced power. And its expression is SE square minus S plus square. What is SE? SE is the effective apparent power 3 into BE into IA. What is S plus? Positive sequence apparent power 3 into BA plus IA plus, okay, if you want conjugate of this and then mod of this. So that term is defined as unbalanced apparent power, you can say, or unbalanced power. So now you have learned that three-phase unbalanced system behavior is totally different from that of the balanced circuits. In respect of the power factor, in respect of the apparent powers, and it's a peculiar phenomena that even though the load is not capacitive or not inductive, but still from the supply side it is seen as inductive and capacitive load because of the unbalance in the system, which will create a relative phase angle between the respective voltages and the currents.